Hello, friends, and thank you for tuning in to our broadcast today. In a few moments, we're going to take you into a live session where Bishop Wayne was teaching a message designed to feed your faith and to elevate your understanding. We invite you to join in as if you were here in person and to light up the chat box with your comments and confirmations. This hour of power is your time to recharge, to renew, and even to reset your mind for a life of purpose, passion, and power. At the end of this message, we have an important announcement for you. So do stay tuned. But now let's go into the hour of power with Bishop Wayne Malcolm.
And tonight's session is entitled, Your Job is Not Your True Work. Woo! Your job is not your true work. I am hereby drawing a distinction between your job and your work, your assigned work, your true work, your authentic work, and the work that God has given to you. Your job is not your true work. But there is a relationship between your job and your work, and we want to explore that because it will help us understand the plan for your prosperity. So we're going to kick off by giving some context to the concept. I'm going to talk about the difference, the path of the just, the purpose of the job, the power of the work, the nature of the work, and the people of the work. If you're excited, could you light up the chat box and let me know that you are here and you are diving in and you're ready to grow and glow. Woo. Okay, so we're going to give some context to the concept, and I'm opening up with this statement. As the image and likeness of God, that is, as a reflection of God to the creation, every man is made to make. Woo! Every man is created to create. Woo! Every man is designed to develop a unique domain. Wow! As God's masterpiece, your true work is to make a masterpiece. Now, I just think that is powerful. I think it's profound because all we know about God in Genesis 1 is that he has this limitless capacity to create, that he materializes his own idea, he manifests his intention, and his word actually materializes things. We see this in the Genesis, and that's how God introduces himself to us. And then we're told that man is made in his image and likeness. This means that man is a reflection of God. And if you want to see God-likeness in a human being, you're not going to find it at the biological level. Okay? So, how does man reflect God? Does man have God's facial features and God's skin tone and God's height and bodily? No. God is a spirit, and his spirit is omnipresent, everywhere present at the same time. And so you're not going to see the image and the likeness of God in man's physiology or if you study him at a biological level. But where you will see the image and the likeness of God is in our insatiable appetite and limitless capacity to create. Unlike any other creature, we have this power of imagination and this ability to materialize our ideas and our imagination. And our appetite for creating is insatiable, and our capacity to create is limitless. And so man, unlike any other beast of the field, will continue to innovate, to create, whether that's works of art, whether that is technological medicinal, construction, aviation, the internet. I mean, we have this insatiable appetite to create and a limitless capacity to create because fundamentally we are reflections of the Creator himself. And this means that we were made to make things. We are created to create. We are designed to develop a unique domain. Now, I want you to say this with me. I want you to say, I am God's masterpiece. Yeah, because the masterpiece in the creative process was the man in the image and likeness of God. So everything that God made up until he made man, he made for man. Like he made the creation for us, but he made us for himself. And so we are the masterpiece and the pinnacle of God's creative genius. And you can say with confidence, I am a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Yeah, we are told that God formed man from the dust of the ground, but then he breathed into that ceramic, that model. He breathed into that the breath or spirit of life, and man became a living mind. So in order for the man to become a living mind, something came out of God and into his form. That is the nature of God. It's the DNA of God. It's the breath of God. It's the wind of God. You are therefore a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Woo! And you were made to make things or to make things happen. You're created to create, and you're designed to develop a unique domain. Now, this is perhaps the starting point for finding what is your true work, what is your purpose or reason for being, what is the purpose of your presence on this planet at this time in human history. Because none of it is accidental, it's all intentional and strategic. Your presence on this planet at this junction in human history cannot be accidental or incidental or coincidental. It is intentional, it is strategic, and it is a deliberate expression of God's infinite intelligence and wisdom to release you into the earth realm at this time for such a time as this. And all that really matters is that you find out why God has you present on this planet at this junction in human history. Because when you start thinking like that, you are going to begin to discover the difference between your job and your true work. And why it's important for you to know what your true work is because you can only prosper in your designated field of fortune, because in that field there is your favor. You know, God put Adam inside the Garden of Eden. Could you imagine Adam saying, you know what? I need to prosper. I need to feed myself. I'm going to leave this garden and go out into the big wide world, and I'm going to find somewhere where I can grow. You know, if Adam were to reason that way, it would be because he failed to realize that all of the fruit and food and abundance and joy that he could ever desire was fully present, emerging around him, because God had planted the seeds of his own economic capacity. God had planted the seeds of his own economic prosperity beneath his feet when God planted Adam in the Garden of Eden and when God planted a garden eastward in Eden. In other words, you have to recognize and realize what is your designated field of potential, your field of fortune, and your field of favor if you're going to tap into the God kind of prosperity. If you're going to tap into the provision, abundance, increase, overflow, and prosperity that God designated and designed for you, you're going to have to recognize and realize the difference between a job and what is your true work. Now, this requires a shift in thinking. It's time to what? Shift our thinking. We have to make a psychological and linguistic shift, because this is the starting point for discovering what is your true work and your present assignment. It is to make that psychological and linguistic shift. What do I mean by psychological? I mean, I want you to change the way you think about your professional life. And linguistic means change the way you speak about your professional life. Now, it's okay in public to speak about your professional life in professional terms. But internally, when it comes to your internal dialogue, you want to begin thinking and speaking about your professional life from a very prophetic perspective, so that you begin to realize that actually you don't simply have a career. What you have fundamentally is a calling. Woo! I wish I had some help in here. So it's the shift from thinking and speaking about your professional life as a career to thinking and speaking about it as a calling. It's about making the shift from a profession to a purpose, from a job to a duty, from work to an act of worship, from a working life to a life's work. So when you begin thinking about your professional life in terms of my calling, my purpose, my duty, my service to God, which is the worship, and you begin thinking and speaking about it as a life's work rather than a working life, then you are now in a space, you're now in a mental and spiritual space where God can begin to reveal to you with more clarity why it is He chose to release you into the earth at this junction in human history. I wish I had some help in here. Because when you make that shift, you now begin to see God all up in your business. You now begin to see God all up in your career. You now begin to see God all up in your profession. And you begin to realize that I actually work for God. I actually work with God. I actually work in God. And God actually works in me because I'm doing God's work. I wish I had some help in here. Yeah. So your true work could otherwise be called your assignment. Your assignment. You know, everything that God made serves a purpose. And so your true work could also be described as your purpose. Your purpose, because we live in an interdependent universe in which everything is related and has an impact on everything else. Everything is connected in one way or another and has an impact on everything else. And so when God made you, He made you deliberately to serve a very specific purpose. And you can think of that as your assignment, your purpose, your destiny, your calling, your life mission. It is fundamentally your true work. And it is far superior than any job that you could get throughout your working life. All right, let's dive into this. Let's really look at the difference, discerning the difference. What is the difference between your job and your true work? Here we go. On the left-hand column, your job describes what you are paid to do. On the right, your true work describes what you were made to do. And so there's a difference between what you're paid to do and what you're made to do. And sometimes you'll never discover what it is you're made to do until you're doing exceptionally well what you're paid to do. And we're going to explore that as we go along in this lesson. But there is a difference between what you're paid to do and what you were made to do. Your job is what you're paid to do. Your true work is what you were made to do. In this respect, your job is your employment. It describes your employment, whereas your true work describes your deployment, your deployment. So with a job, you're employed, but with a mission, with an assignment, with a purpose, with a destiny, what you have is deployment, where God sends you equipped, armed and dangerous to serve a purpose in a designated territory. You are deployed. All right. Your job describes your role, but your true work will always reflect your revelation. So we can already see the transcendence, okay? The transcendence of a work above a job. If all you have throughout your working life is a job, you have something you're paid to do, something you are employed to do, a role that you are employed to play, typically in the service of someone else's agenda. But when you discover your true work and you transition into being paid for what you're made for, woo, yeah, I said it. As you begin to discover your true work and you transition from what you're paid for to what you're made for, then you will be deployed rather than employed, and your work will reflect your revelation. In this respect, your job is physical, but your true work is spiritual. Your job is natural. Your true work is supernatural. Your job describes what you do, but your true work describes what you get done. How many of you want to discover what is your true work? And how many of you already realize that the rewards are reserved for those who carry out the assignment that God gave to them? Wow, that's who the rewards are reserved for. And rewards are very different to wages, because what you get from a job is a wage. What you get from your true work is a reward. Wages typically have a ceiling and a cap, so that you're going to be paid that amount no matter how hard you work, what attitude you bring to the table, what ethics and values you bring to the table. But when it comes to your true work, God says there is a reward, both in this life and the one to come. I wish I had some more help. Your destiny is discovered, not decided. So what a lot of people do is they say, okay, here are the career options before me. Here are the potential career paths before me. I'm just going to choose one, and then I'm just going to go with that flow. Okay, when it comes to your destiny, your prophetic destiny, and your authentic original assignment, the purpose for your presence on this planet, your deployment, when it comes to that, this is not something you will decide from a list of options. This is something you will discover as you go. Somebody say, as I go. Woo! Absolutely. Proverbs 4 verse 18 says, but the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. In other words, when God said to Abraham, I want you to pack up and go, he said, I want you to go to a place that I will afterward show you. Now, most people who want to choose from a list of options would say, okay, God, show me and I'll go. But the journey of faith means go and I'll show you. It will become clearer as you go. You must embark on the journey of faith, and with each new step of faith, more light will come into the equation, and you'll begin to see why it is God has led you down this particular path. It is the path of the righteous. It is like a light that gets brighter and brighter until you can see everything that you need to see. But see, too much light at one time will blind you. So God's not giving you a burst of light to blind you. He's giving you a path out of darkness and into marvelous light. So your destiny is discovered, and you will discover it, number one, as you go. What do I mean by as you go? I mean that life will put you on a path. And sometimes what puts you on the path is is uh, is an inspiration, a dream, a goal, something you're passionate about and you want to achieve. It will put you on a path. Okay? But if we're brutally honest with each other, sometimes we're forced onto the path. It is not inspiration that puts us on the path. Sometimes it's desperation that puts us on to the path. Sometimes it's not faith that puts us on the path. It's fear that puts us on the path. Sometimes it's not inspiration, it's perspiration that puts us onto the path. And you say, Bishop, can you prove that biblically? Yes, I can. You see, Joseph in the Genesis dreamed a dream that one day he would occupy an elite position of significance, influence, and leadership to the point that his own family would bow to him. That was his dream. But his dream never put him on the path. It was the hostility of his brothers that pushed him onto the path. See, sometimes your desire will pull you, but other times desperation will push you. And there are some people that pull you onto the path, and there are others, typically aggressive, hostile, antagonistic haters, that push you onto the path. And how many of you are going to be honest and say, look, I was actually pushed onto this path? Like Joseph, I was pushed into Egypt. I did have a pull, but it wasn't strong enough to cause me to pack my bags and make my way to Egypt. I had to be pushed. And that's why you eventually have to forgive those people whose criticisms, rejections, persecutions, insults, attempts at sabotage pushed you out of one world and into another. Sometimes you have to look back and say, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because your rejection was for my protection. So God will put you on a path. And as you go, your destiny will be discovered. Because the purpose of the path is to make and mold you. It is to shape and fashion you. It is to correct and perfect you so that you are becoming infinitely more as a result of the path than you were at the beginning. Which is why we must not judge our journey in terms of what we're getting. Instead, we must judge our journey in terms of what we are becoming. Because the purpose of your path is the manifestation of a better, higher version of you. See, as a result of the path, you get experiences and an education that you couldn't have got outside of the path. So your destiny is discovered as you go, but it is equally discovered as you grow. And so I'm not just going into my assignment, I am growing into my assignment. I wish I had some help in here. So you got to go there, and in order to get there, you've got to grow there. But your destiny is equally discovered as you give. Because on this path that has highs and lows, twists and turns, successes and victories and defeats, successes and failures are all part of the path because God is growing you through that process, and he's making you into the person who can survive the success and the significance that comes with your assignment and your destiny and your true work. Because fulfilling on your true work and fulfilling on your assignment is going to make you both successful and generationally significant. And the arena of greatness is not a safe place. It's actually a dangerous place because with new levels, there are new devils. And in that arena, there are sharks, there are there are serpents and scorpions. There are dangerous actors and players in that field. If you think the criticism and the rejection you've experienced at this level is as bad as it gets, well, wait till you start growing into your purpose and destiny. Wait till you find your God-ordained field of favor and fortune, and you will discover, if you had any doubts, you'll quickly figure out the devil is real. And the devil is using people and is using situations in order to derail your destiny. And so the path is critical for making you into the person that can survive your own success and can survive the arena of greatness and can stand tall in the face of adversity. Now, in that process, you will have opportunities to give. And when I say give, I mean serve others with your gift. Just like Joseph had an opportunity to serve others with his gifts, even when he was in prison, he served the Pharaoh's butler and baker. Now, that act of service was a necessary, needed component to his future resurrection, elevation, and repositioning and rebranding. And so as you go, you want to practice generosity. You want to serve people along the way. You don't sit back and wait and say, well, when I discover what is my purpose, then I'll give my 100%. No, give your 100% to every opportunity you get along the way, to every person that is in need along the way, to your neighbor who is bleeding and dying on the Jericho road. Give your best at all times, because as you're faithful in a little, God deems you worthy of much, much more. So your destiny is discovered not while you wait, not while you read a book, but as you go, grow, and give. As you go, as you grow, as you give, that path is going to get brighter and brighter until the perfect day when you know exactly why you're here. You know exactly who you are. You know exactly what you were made to manifest. You know exactly what you were created to create. You know exactly what is the domain that you are designed to develop. I wish I had some help in here. So, when I say that your job is not your true work, I don't mean that your job serves no purpose. Because the fact is that you will discover your true work as you go. And that means as you go, grow, and give. So your job, whatever you do professionally, whatever the job title is, actually serves a purpose. Your business right now, you may be the CEO, the founder, the president of your own company, and you're working it, you're working in it, you're working on it, it's working on you, and that's what you're being paid for. Fantastic. What you're paid for is fantastic and serves a purpose. But it's important that you don't confuse it with what your true work actually is. It could be right? That your business is a means to an end and not an end in and of itself. That your job is a means to an end and not an end in and of itself. That your money is a means to an end and not an end in and of itself. So, what is the purpose of the job? The believer should never work for a living. Instead, we work for the following. Okay, so the Bible says, let him that stole steal no more, rather let him work with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that is in need. It doesn't say that he may have to live, but that he may have to give. In other words, you must have a higher purpose for your work. There must be a higher purpose when it comes to your professional life. There must be a higher purpose when it comes to your business life, your entrepreneurial life. There has to be a higher purpose. Because as we teach, in our kingdom concepts, kingdom principles, theology, and context, that it is the spiritual that gives meaning to the material, but it is the material that gives expression to the spiritual. I could say it this way: heaven gives meaning to the earth gives expression to heaven. But what it simply means is that if your business has no spiritual meaning, if your job has no spiritual meaning, then it is no longer an expression of heaven on earth, and it's not a kingdom thing. It's really you're serving mammon as opposed to serving God. So the purpose of the job is not for the living. You need to get that out of your mind. So, well, I'm just doing this to put food on the table. No, 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 no. God said he will clothe you and feed you. But you are doing this for a good reason. You have to do this at this season in your life, but that season must not be making a God out of the job or a God out of the money. Because here's why you do it, okay? And if I need to explain that some more, when we open up our forum and our community where we can continue the conversation, I'm happy to answer that question. But let's dive into this right now. We work, number one, for the giving, because in order for our path to become brighter, we must use every opportunity to serve people at different levels and in different capacities. The more that you are serving, the more that you are giving from your gift, from your capacity, from your talents, is the more that you're growing. And so we also work for the growing, okay, for the experience that teaches us new skills, new knowledge, new systems. So we're growing. So I'm going to work, right? I'm going to work and I'm going to do what I'm paid to do. But at a higher level, I'm actually learning while I work. I'm growing while I work. I'm giving because giving is critical to me receiving down the road. So I'm giving and I'm serving at a high level because I have this opportunity. But fundamentally, I am growing. Number three, the purpose of the job is your strategic positioning, because God wants an agent in that system. And for right now, I am God's representative in this system. So I am working for God in the system, positioning, which if done well is going to give me influence within a sphere of influence. So I'm also working to increase my influence. I am working for the impact that my presence has on the field. I am working so that God has access and agency in this space. So what we're doing here is we are establishing a higher purpose that gives spiritual meaning to what we do for getting paid, right? For what we do for a so-called living needs to have a higher purpose or at least some spiritual meaning. Which now brings me to the purpose of the work. That is your true work, your assignment, your calling, your mission. I want to talk about that. Your true work was assigned to you before you appeared in the world. That's why it's discovered, not decided. In Jeremiah 1 verses 4-5, Jeremiah discovers his true work. Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. What's that? It's a revelation of your destiny. It's a revelation of your assignment. It's a revelation of your deployment. It gives purpose and meaning to your life. It is that which was prepared for you before you appeared. Therefore, it is your designated field of favor to which God has deployed you for service. Woo! I wish I had some more help in here. I want you to also realize that you are deployed by design. Okay? You are deployed by design. Where God has sent you, where God has positioned you, he has done so because you were designed for that unique domain, which means you have what it takes because it's only going to take what you've got. It means that no one can do in your field what you can do because you are uniquely designed for that field. Your difference is deliberate because you were designed for a unique domain. So what are we saying here? It's a discovery because your work was assigned to you before you appeared in the world. You discover it by revelation, and when you discover it, you will begin to realize that your difference is deliberate. You are different, but you are different by design. Now, God made you an original. You must not die a copy. You must not spend your life imitating someone else. You must find your authentic, original, God-made self that is going to have differences. And instead of disliking your difference, you must celebrate your difference because you're different by design. So someone's listening to me right now and they're saying, well, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too large, I'm too thin, I'm the wrong color, I'm the wrong gender, I have the wrong accent. Guess what? That is all a lie from the pit. You are the right age, the right size, the right color, with the right accent, born in the right place, at the right time, to the right people, raised in the right situation for your assignment. I didn't say ideal. When I said right, I don't mean ideal, okay? Because there's a lot about our past that's not ideal. But you are different by design because you were designed for a unique domain. I wish I had more help in here. Someone needs to be lighting up the chat box right now because I'm explaining the mystery of your path and of your unique story, with its ups and downs, highs and lows, twists and turns, disappointments, setbacks, successes, failures, victories, defeats. It's your story. It's your unique story, but you are different by design because you are deployed by design to a unique domain. So that if you want to discover your domain, sometimes it's simply about looking at your life story and actually realizing that you are the best person to help a certain group of people. Like you are the best person to serve a particular segment in the marketplace. You are the best person to speak with authority, clarity, credibility to a particular audience because your story is your credibility and your story is what gives God his glory. Now, if you're going to discover what is your true work, obviously you realize it is a discovery, realize that you are different by design, and you are designed for that destiny. And then I want you to make the shift from thinking about what I'm here to do, what I'm called to do, what I can do. And I want you to make the shift from thinking in terms of what to thinking in terms of who. Because you see, you are assigned to a people. You are anointed for a people. You are anointed for a specific audience. So the question is who I am here to serve, not what can I do, but who am I sent to? You remember Jesus saying, I'm not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He was clear about who he was sent to. You want to get some clarity about the people that you are appointed to serve as God's representative and as God's deployed special agent. So if you're going to figure out who these people are, you need to realize that someone is praying for you to appear. I'm going to say that again. Someone is praying for you to appear. Some of you are familiar with Paul. Paul's journey, his missionary journey into Macedonia, how that he had options, that there were several places he could go. And some of those places made a lot of sense to go, but the Spirit was holding him back. And then one night he had a dream, and in the dream he saw a man from Macedonia in his vision saying, come over into Macedonia and help us. Come over into Macedonia and help us. That was the Macedonian call. So Paul had options as to where he could go next, but someone was calling him from a particular region. And the truth is that that man in the vision represented the collective prayers, the collective subconscious, the collective subconscious cries of a people that were ready to receive Paul. Of course, when Paul got to Macedonia, he didn't find a man, but he did find a people that were ready to hear. And these people that are praying for you to appear, praying for you to get your act together, praying for you to start believing in yourself, praying for you to start believing that God is for you and that if God is for you, no one and no thing can be against you. To start believing that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. To start believing that you were made to make things happen, created to create things, and deployed to develop a domain. They're praying for you to wake up, put your business system together, put your venture and initiative together, and go out into the marketplace and find them. They're praying for you to appear. It could be their health, their wealth, their soul, their business, their nation, or their relationships that are at stake. Okay? They are praying that a business solution, a civic solution, a branding solution, a marketing solution, a spiritual solution, a political solution, a creative solution will appear. They don't know your name, and they don't know that you are God's answer to their prayers and that you are on a path that is making and molding, perfecting and correcting you until the day that you rise up and realize that I am the answer to your prayers. I wish I had some help in here today. When are you going to wake up and realize that you are the answer to someone's prayers? Woo! Because they're praying for you and they're running out of time. You are assigned to a people who sit in darkness, a people who are waiting for you to shine. Matthew 4:16, the people which sat in darkness saw a great light, and to them which sat in the region of and shadow of death, light is springing up. That's a very powerful biblical principle, and it has metaphoric application to kingdom ambassadors that are called to the marketplace and that are called to create economic capacity, stability, and prosperity for their bloodline for generations to come. Now, if that's you, you need to realize that you are the light that some people sitting in darkness are waiting for to appear. And your light will typically look like your business, your offers, your solutions, your services that you bring to people who are subconsciously looking for you already. See, you are assigned to a specific audience. And I think of them this way. You are assigned to a people in a place. And we know what the place is. It's called darkness and the shadow of death. It's a dark place. You are assigned to a people in a dark place with a problem which they don't know how to get out, and a prayer, praying for an intervention and a solution. And it could be in the arena of their health. It could be their wealth. It could be their business. It could be their relationships. It could be any area of universal need. There are people in a dark place with a problem and a prayer. That's the people you are assigned to. Wow and wow. Guess what? When you find those people for whom you are uniquely gifted, anointed, and equipped to solve problems, enable their aspirations, resolve issues, and meet needs with your creative gift, with your gift, when you find those people, guess what you found? You found your field of fortune. Wow and wow. When you find the people, you have found the opportunity that will deliver the best outcomes. When you find those people, You have found your field of favor, and you have found the place of your kingdom prosperity simply by finding the people. So instead of saying, what can I do? What should I do? Begin to think in terms of who shall I serve? To whom am I sent? And as you shift from what to who, you're going to make a discovery along this path of the just. And it's a discovery about why you went through what you went through, why you know what you know, why you can do what you can do, why you have access to expertise in your life or resources in your life. It's all going to begin to make sense. You will make peace with your past, and you will have power for the present and tremendous momentum for the future because of the discovery of your true work. Wow and wow. I must leave you with this. Success is not the end game for kingdom citizens. I need to say that again because it's a critical component. Success is not the end game for kingdom citizens. We must go beyond success to a place called significance. See, you are blessed when you're successful. But in the Abrahamic covenant, God said, Abraham, I will bless you. I'll make your name great, and you will be a blessing. And God even described the blessing that you will be. He said, in your seed, which is a generational term, your offspring, shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So God gave Abraham, God gave Abraham a generational and global vision in the promise that God made to him. And this would make him generationally and globally significant. See, you can be blessed with success, but you can only become the blessing through your significance. You are blessed when you're successful. You are significant when you become the blessing. Wow and wow, somebody need to be screaming in this chat box. Joseph was successful in Egypt, but became significant only when he forgave his brothers. See, the truth is that you can live your dreams and destroy your destiny, because there's a difference between your destiny and your dreams. Your dreams are the small picture that you can see that is attractive to you. So you're attractive to a potential outcome, and you get on the path towards achieving that goal. But that path was designed to make, mold, polish, perfect, and correct you so that you become the person that can survive success and go on to realize prophetic and generational significance. So you become such a bigger person on that pathway. The reality is that when Joseph's brothers bowed down to him, he was fully living his dream. But it wasn't until he forgave them that he was able to fulfill his destiny. Because his destiny was so much bigger than his dream. The destiny, the true work, was to facilitate the growth of his family, the house of Israel, the descendants of Jacob, which were just a family, right, of about 70 souls. Joseph's true work was to facilitate their growth from a family to a nation, to incubate the growth of a nation and the birth of a nation. This was his true work. His job was to be a consultant to the Pharaoh. His job was to solve problems for Pharaoh. He got paid to advise Pharaoh. He got paid to implement and manage the implementation of his own advice. He got paid for his economic prowess and sophistication in Egypt. But he was made to facilitate the birth of a nation. The birth of a nation, a people that would one day exodus out of Egypt and fulfill the promises God made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. His work facilitated the appearance of Messiah. And Messiah facilitated our reconciliation with God. So Joseph's work had generational significance and global significance. And we are beneficiaries today of his true work. Whereas all his job could have done is provide temporary funding and temporary or physical prosperity without any spiritual significance. But Joseph went beyond success when he forgave his brothers and relocated them to the land of Goshen. Joseph moved from success to significance. The beneficiaries of your success will determine your significance. See, if you're the only beneficiary of your success, you are not significant. But if others are blessing your name, you are not just successful, you're significant. Significance reveals the impact that your success has on others. Wow and wow. And significance is what God meant when he said, Abraham, I will bless you. I'll make your name great. I'll make your name great. What was he saying? He was saying, Abraham, I'm going to take you beyond success to the place of generational significance. And if you are a kingdom citizen, you need to be thinking beyond success to the place of generational significance, because a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. A good man knows that the purposes, plans, and promises of God are too big to squeeze into any one person's lifetime. A good man understands that your life and your contribution is a piece in the puzzle designed to bring clarity to the big picture, which is Christ. Proverbs 22 verse 1, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Why? Because your good name is an unlimited supply of gold, of great riches. Your good name and the favor on your name is an unlimited source of silver and gold. You will never run out of money when you become successful and significant in your field of favor, in your true work.
Hey, I'm Bishop Wayne Malcolm, author, coach, and founder of the Epic Kingdom Network. If you've ever felt like something's missing in what you've been taught about Christianity, you're not wrong. Most of us were taught that heaven and the hereafter are the goal, prize, and sole objective of the faith. But the original message of Christ taught us to engage, to influence, and to transform the world. Believe it or not, Jesus didn't die to get us into heaven. He died to get heaven into us, and then through us into the earth. What if I told you that Christianity was never meant to be a religion, but rather a relationship and a global revolution? A divine intervention, not a man-made institution. The original message and mission of Christ was hijacked, diluted, distorted, and replaced with a religion. My new ebook, Kingdom Theology for Kingdom Citizens, is not just another devotional, it's a call to action. A bold reintroduction to the original message of Christ, a message of dominion, not escapism, of transformation, not tradition. You'll learn what it means to rule and reign with Christ, to steward wealth with purpose, to influence government, education, culture, and business as an ambassador of heaven. This book will shift your lens, stir your spirit, and set you on course with divine clarity. And right now, for a limited time, I'm giving you free access to the digital and audiobook versions. No cost, no catch. Just click the link in the description, grab your copy, and step into clarity. In the Bible, 40 days is never just 40 days. It's a turning point and a spiritual reset before a destiny release. 40 days of rain and Noah pioneered a new world. 40 days on the mountain and Moses received a nation-shaping blueprint. 40 days in the wilderness and Jesus stepped into global impact. After the resurrection, 40 days of kingdom teaching prepared the leaders of the early church. That's not a coincidence, it's a spiritual success system. Given that all these Bible characters launched their own legacies with a 40-day challenge, let me ask you, would you give God 40 days to transform the next 40 years of your life and legacy? What if 40 days of alignment could unlock 40 years of clarity, authority, and prosperity? What if 40 days of focus could unleash 40 years of favor? Check out my new 40-day challenge, an intensive kingdom immersion for entrepreneurs, builders, creators, and visionaries. Each day, we dive deep into kingdom philosophy, psychology, economics, business, and leadership. So you can stop the grind and start to grow with spiritual precision. Perhaps the next 40 years is waiting for you to consecrate 40 days of focused discipleship so that you can create a lasting legacy of success. If you're serious about your next season, don't miss this moment. Check out the link in the description and register now.
Hey there, entrepreneurs! If you enjoy the teachings of Bishop Wayne Malcolm, I've got something amazing for you. Introducing the New Breed Community, an exclusive online platform for kingdom-conscious entrepreneurs, professionals, investors, and creators. This isn't just a community, it's a movement where we discuss and explore kingdom concepts. Here, kingdom-minded people connect, share, learn, and grow together. Inside, you'll find exclusive content from Bishop Wayne Malcolm, including special sessions just for members. And the best part? It's free to join. The New Breed Community sits on the Heartbeat platform, where Bishop Wayne Malcolm is excited to meet you online. Join us for weekly Q&A sessions with Bishop Wayne and get exclusive insights that can transform your life. Love to read? Join our book club to feed your mind and spirit. Got a prayer request? Post it and let's lift each other up. Have a testimony? Share how God's goodness is shining in your life. We're more than just a community, we're a movement. Discover the powerful relationship between your profession and your purpose. Join us now on the Heartbeat platform. Connect with us and let's grow together. Bishop Wayne Malcolm and the New Breed Community are waiting for you. So what are you waiting for? Hit that join button and step into a world of connection and growth. A warm welcome awaits you. See you on the inside.